I'm gonna go to the next question. Let's get a little more serious here. Rena, how do you know for sure without a doubt that you're called for specifically campus ministry in Hollywood? Do you have any confusion or on where you are called to be? And do you have a desire before and plan for it? You know, the Bible says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope in the future." So Jeremiah 29:11, one of my favorite verses in the Bible. God has a plan for every single one of us. He has a destiny, He has a purpose. He has it written out before time even begins. But the question is, you know, will you follow that plan? And so, you know, for me, I really believe that God has already been working in my life before my life even began. That He already had it scripted out. You know, God's like a script writer. He knows the script to your life. But the question is, again, will you respond to the script that He's written out for you? And so for me, I do believe that passion for music, you have a passion for dancing, you have a passion for missions, you have a passion for social justice, you have a passion for homeless, you have a passion for food, you have a passion for whatever you have a passion or desire for. God placed that in you because He created you that way. And so you do need to follow your desires and follow your passion and do what you were created to do and do what you love to do. All right? God would not have created a spoon to do the job of a fork, and God wouldn't have created a toaster to do the job of a plate. You know, every single person that He creates has a very specific purpose and a very specific plan that God mapped out. And so be yourself, do you. And for me, you know, I love the students, and for a season of my life, I felt very called to lay a groundwork to do student ministry and campus church planting. But after I'd done that for about 10 years, I really felt like God was also releasing inside of me a passion for movies and entertainment and film and music. And then because of circumstances, I just began to see different open doors into entertainment and music. And I always tell people John 5:19 is how I live my verse. Jesus said, "I only do what I see the Father doing." And so the key to doing the will of God in your life is not to say, "Okay, God, I'm called to be a missionary in Africa and to preach to an unreached people group." Yes, He may be calling you to do that, but possibly He might only be calling you to do that for a season. And so you got to follow God with the times and the season. So He may be calling you to do something in one season, where another season He'll be calling you to something else. Paul, for one season, was preaching to the Jews, but then for another season of his life, God called him to preach to the Gentiles. And so you got to know what you're called to do right now. And so that takes a daily relationship with the Holy Spirit. And so you have to daily walk with the Spirit, talk with the Spirit, keep your eyes, your ears, and your spiritual senses open to what God is doing in and around you, and say, "God, is this where you want me right now?" And as you see fruit being born, doors being opened, you continue there. And if doors close after a season and new doors open up to another area of ministry, whatever field that might be, whether He's calling you to be a doctor or whether He's calling you to be a businessman or government or whatever it might be, all right, that you walk through that door because you sense the Holy Spirit is moving in that direction. Find out what God is doing and join Him. That is the greatest way and the most specific way to experience God and the will of God in your life. And so I just encourage you to really just do what you see God doing in your life and what you see doing around you, and pray through it. Get people in your church to give you counsel, talk to people and mentors that have been in that field. You know, get an educated understanding of what you want to do and how to do it, and make sure that you just really make a wise decision. But most of all, follow the Spirit. One other last question I'm going to answer John's is, what is your kingdom's perspective on the power of music? All right. Well, John, actually, you know you, John Riley. Music is a language of heaven. Dreams, visions, music. When you think of the Old Testament, you know, the very first picture of heaven is angels, and a symphony and a choir of angels by the thousands, worshiping God in splendor and glory. And so you understand that in heaven, there's nothing but worship going on 24/7, night and day and night. This is the language of God, okay? Is music. It's something that comes from your soul. It's something that is birthed through the Spirit. It's something that's released in the natural, but first birthed in the Spirit. And so you got to understand that music is spiritual. Music is meant for praise. Music is meant for worship. Music is meant to be given to God. And so how can music be powerful? Music is a universal language. I can listen to a Korean song or an African song or a Latin song or an American song and be moved in the same way without even understanding the lyrics. Why? Because there's a rhythm, there's a soul, there's something spiritual about it that touches the human spirit that a book can't do, that a speech can't do, that, you know, a television show can't do. There's something about music that's just completely universal that binds and unites the human family together and into one song. And so I would definitely say that music is one of the most powerful weapons in our arsenal to not only communicate truth and communicate the love of God and communicate creativity and who God's created us to be in the gospel, but really music is the language of revolution. If you've ever studied any revolution, whether that was the hippie movement, whether that was Marxist, whether that was, anything in history, music was always the language of revolution. Whenever something was started new, whenever something was beginning to be pioneered, there were songs written to that movement. There was songs written to those ideas and those philosophies, and that is what carried it and spread it. And so that is so crucial. If you look at the first and second great awakenings, John Wesley, Charles Wesley, they wrote thousands and thousands of hymns, all right? Because it sparked the movement. People sang the theology. They sang the ideas. They sang the philosophy. They sang the doctrines. And it's the same thing today. Why do you think MTV is so powerful? BET is so powerful? Why do you think, the radio and satellite and all this is so powerful? It's because music touches lives. Music transforms hearts. Music touches souls that even the human physical touch can't. It goes from here into here. And so music, to me, has to be utilized by believers, has to be utilized by people who know God and follow God to release the language and the voice and the truth and the purposes of God into the hearts of a generation. And so, yes, definitely, music is the most powerful medium of communication that you could ever imagine. I mean, just, today Michael Jackson passed away, and, God bless his soul, and may he rest in peace. And I pray and I hope that he's in heaven. But just think about this one life through his music touched and inspired millions to be great. His greatness challenged and inspired us to be great. And it was done through music. And there's a combination of that. There was dance, but you can't have dance without music, right? But you can have music without dance. You can't have dance without music. You dance to the rhythm. You dance to the music. It's something spiritual. It's something that moves the physical. So it starts in the spirit and then it's released in the natural. Music is powerful. Make sure that if you have that gift, utilize that gift for God and glorify Him with it. All right? All right, so God bless. I'll talk to you guys soon, and we will go from there. A millionaire, a millionaire.